Welcome! This is Mordoom Server Minecraft Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing the first server that I've ever played on. Oh, there we go. Happens sometimes. This is Element Skyblock. And today I'm going to be reviewing... Yep. So this is it. Going to engage fly real quick. And now I'm going to start you off with what Element Skyblock is. Element Skyblock is one of 3 servers owned by Storms X4 in the Skyblock category. This particular Skyblock is pretty strange when you first join. You may be wondering why it's called Element Skyblock. Well, this is why. 4 different elements as the color scheme for spawn, and 4 different elements: nether element, forest element, tundra element, and desert element. Also, if you go to when you start a new island, such as this one, this is the scheme for a new island. As you can see, it's been customized a little bit with the presence of no tree right there. Maybe a better one would be right here. Yep, this is an uncustomized island. And this is what it looks like. Under and over. Because of the abundance of resources, it's really easy to get farms started. You already have 2 trees. You've got a chest full of supplies. Pretty sure there's a sign here. The person must have removed it and put it in the chest. But there's an automatically cobble generator for you to get started with cobble, and it's really good. You can break the ice to get extra water, or you could just make a bucket and scoop up all this for infinite water source. But back to spawn. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to tell you the good and bad that I've put on a list, and at the end of the video I'm going to assign it a certain amount of stars out of 5. So let's get started with the good. I'm going to start off with gameplay. Now I can't really give any merits to the owner, Storms X4, for gameplay because it's pretty basic and Minecraft isn't his game. Mojang is the developer of Minecraft, as everybody knows, so this server doesn't really get any merits, but I felt it was necessary to put anyways, because aside from the basic gameplay that comes with all of Minecraft servers, it's got some pretty good gameplay, such as modifications like chest shops and lockets, which protect chests and assist in deals for online. Another good thing: plugins. Plugins are pretty good. If I'll do /back, take me back to this island. There are a whole bunch of plugins that null all damage if you're in spawn, and there are plugins that prevent you from logging out in spawn, otherwise you die when you log back in and lose all of your stuff. And there's plugins that are stored right here in this piece of bedrock on all islands. Anti-grief, if a person isn't part of your island, they can't build or destroy, and all of your information for your island is stored in this block, which is why it's bedrock. So don't try to destroy this with a dark oak branch glitch, because that'll destroy your island. Just letting you know. Going back to spawn and showing you some more stuff. The layout is another good topic. This is organized, but it is sort of bland. And they haven't had a change for as long as I've been around. They do re-customize every once in a while. For example, there's still some snow residue from when they had a Christmas decorations up with candy canes sticking all over the place, but it was still the same schematic for spawn, and I guess they don't really want to change it up all that much. But when you really think of a Skyblock server, you wouldn't really think of this with all the quartz and glass everywhere, making it look kind of futuristic. And then we have ranks. Ranks are really fun and really good. They're a tad bit expensive, and you're likely to steal from your parents the first time, but if you do want some stuff that is kind of expensive, you should go for ranks. Right here we have the highest rank, which is God, and it gives you 2 kits every 24 hours, and it gives you Spawn Mob, which is incredible for gaining money really fast, and levels, which you can use to enchant. But since you're God, you have the skills such as Enchant and Ender Chest and /God, which annuls all damage, and you have Nickname, you've got Feed, Set Warp, /Workbench, Repair, and Fly, and all of that you get with God. And a really good thing about ranks on this server compared to other servers that I've seen, when you buy a rank, you don't have to buy the full price of the next rank when you upgrade, because there's an option to upgrade. So see, this says $10, but if you buy this first for $5, then you can upgrade to this premium for another $5. That makes $10. It's as if you never bought VIP in the first place. That's really good if you're limited on money every once in a while. Chat filter. This is supposedly a kid-friendly server, so there is a chat filter, and there are repercussions from bypassing the chat filter. There are a lot of good stuff that comes with having a chat filter. For example, it gives the appearance that people are more friendly and people are nicer, mostly because they have to appear that way, but that's besides the point. Unfortunately, that's about all the good stuff that I can say about this server. Besides some friendly staff members, really only 2 come to mind that I have experience with. Dexter Morgan, which is still kind of iffy with me because I don't know him very well. And then there's Yobubs, which is probably the nicest of any staff that's on this server right now. Even among these guys, which I don't even know. Now onto the bad. Bad, unfortunately, also starts with staff. First, we're starting with owner, Storms X4. Probably one of the meanest server owners I've ever met. Honestly, he seems to be very reclusive when it comes to coming onto the server. His own server. Another thing is, he likes to make a lot of excuses, and he doesn't investigate problems for himself. He usually lets his mod, the one Alex, who is even meaner than Storms, do the most of the stuff, which is why the one Alex, of course, seems to abuse his influence over Storms, because Storms doesn't take the time to investigate stuff for himself. Storms is also a little really mean, because he's done stuff that doesn't really make sense, stuff that you wouldn't expect from a respectable server owner, so that's a problem. Onto the one Alex. The one Alex, I can't use any good words to describe him because honestly there aren't any left. Not because I've already used them, but because there is no good way to describe him. He's passive-aggressive, he's sarcastic, he has a superiority complex, and he brushes just about everything off. He doesn't seem to understand that what he says are not merely words on a screen, and that they do have the power to affect people beyond just making them a little bit upset. He's not a very nice guy. Not at all. As for economy is another thing that's sort of on the bad. Even for defaults and people with the first 2 ranks, it's still really easy to get diamond gear. I'll show you my island. I love to build with wood. Spruce is by far my favorite, but if you don't believe me that I have a whole bunch of diamond stuff, just look at my godded crap chest. I have full godded diamond armor, full godded diamond diamond tools, diamond sword, diamond picks, god shears. That's a welcome book from, I don't know why, but I have a rule book, but I even have godded stone stuff, godded leather armor, godded bows, and I don't even think that's all that I have, but with all of the enchantments and skills that you get from buying ranks, it really runs down the economy. I can do /warp shop and show you that, and show you some comparisons. You see in how you get a whole bunch of stuff from your kits, right? Well, look at this. $500 for each for one spawn egg, as opposed to, see, if you have God or even VIP, you can take a look at VIP, and that's pretty sad that they would charge $500 and you get 4 of each every 24 hours, and that's the lowest rank. That's only $5. And that's every day. So the fact that they would have that, those kits are already ruining it. But I guess they want you to purchase. I guess they want you to have to pay for that. But then you look at a God, which as opposed to 4 gives you 50 spawn eggs of each type per day. That's even worse. The only spawn eggs that you don't get are Ocelot and Horse, and if you have God rank, or if you have Spawn Mob, then you can just spawn those without having to use an egg, as well as being able to spawn hostile mobs. Aside from that, it's really easy to gain money, and a lot of people are thankful for that, but when you're a devoted hardcore type, it gets a little bit boring not having to do much to get a whole bunch of money. Aside from that, we have ranks. Going back to ranks, you may be thinking, well, why would you put ranks on the bad side when you just put it in the good side? Well, ranks are good and bad, but what I'm saying is ranks are good because people who like to have ranks and they like to show their support, ranks are really the only way you can do that besides having custom nicknames, custom ranks, and custom kits. But those are a hassle to get. But ranks in general, you don't have to get them. So I guess that is a counter to this argument, but ranks kind of ruin the economy. And that's really the point that I'm trying to get across. Next on the list we have PvP. PvP is pretty good, but when it comes to hackers, they don't enforce no hacking, because this is not a PvP server, and it's been very, very debatable. But the Storm's final word on it is that PvP is allowed, or PvP hacks are allowed. Even the infinite speed arrow glitch is allowed, and there's no way to get around that because you're allowed to hack. End of story. Scamming and griefing, respectively. People can't grief you unless they're part of your island, but it's in the frequently asked questions section. Well, it should be. Let's see. Let's look for it. Oh, yep, here it is. If you invite someone to your island, they can grief you. Now, that doesn't mean they should grief you, but just because you can, and that doesn't sit right with me. For a child-friendly server, griefing and scamming over here. I got scammed. Can you get my items back? Scamming is allowed. Use chest shop to trade safely. That's just not very nice, especially when it's a supposedly child-friendly server. That's not a good thing to do, because that's really easy to drive people away from this server, and that's pretty bad when they try to do that. Next we have another problem. Mob farms. Here's a minor thing. I wouldn't really say it's worthy of putting on this list, but here's a pretty fun thing. It doesn't matter which one you click, because you go to warp spawn, and then you click on that and you go to the center, but then you click on this and you still go to the center. So really, it doesn't really make much sense that there's 2 signs to go to the warp for the mob farms. That doesn't really matter. But anyway, mob farms is pretty cool, but it's not necessary. And the biggest problem with mob farms are people like this guy, who go AFK in a corner or something just to steal your crap. That's not really fair. But the good side about the mob farms is that they can't hurt you, and the only things that can move are spiders, which really only get in the way. They're annoying, but they're not a threat. Next on the list we have Fly, and you may be thinking, Fly? Well, that doesn't make any sense. You're flying right now. Well, flying is pretty good when you want adventure, but for people who are hardcore and really want to do a series, Fly is pretty bad, because if you're on an island with someone doing a series and they get Fly without telling you, and they are all like, oh cool, look what I did on the Skyblock, and they're all like, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? And they're all like, oh, I used Fly. Well, I don't think you would be very happy, because that's pretty much cheating when you're trying to do survival like that. So, I mean, I guess you could just say, okay, screw it, we're just going to go to a different Skyblock server and start all over, but then that's not really good either, because then they'll say, oh, well, then I just wasted $15 on you. Rivalries get bitterness, and it's just not very fun. Next we have Jail. I'm going to show you the jail real quick. Oop, that's Kale. Jail is where you go when you break rules such as bypass and spawn mob abuse. Spawn mob abuse is when you spawn mob on other people's islands. They don't like it, they report you. You can get jailed for a while, and you can get your spawn mob taken away, but that rarely happens. The problem with jail is that even though it is a repercussion to breaking the rules, it doesn't teach people their lesson. I've constantly been pitching the idea that if people just handed out one-day temp bans for 24 hours, then it would get the message across much better that these are the rules, don't break them. But so far they just don't want to. Apparently they don't want to have a really kid-friendly server, despite what they keep on saying about it. And the next thing is Spawn, which is the main area. Now, the biggest problem with Spawn is that all this glass make it a sort of a futuristic type, and it doesn't really fit the theme. Especially over here, you look at blue. Now, that red obviously means nether, green means forest, and white means the tundra. But what does blue mean? The fourth element is desert, so why is this blue? It should be at least brown of sort, and I know you can make that, or you should be able to make brown, so it doesn't really make much sense. Other than that, this, as simple as it is, it should be more of a Skyblock theme. It's not very outspoken. You wouldn't really think that this was a Skyblock theme without something that would say Skyblock. So that's a problem. And with all these problems, even though there is some good stuff and there are some good people, I just can't say that there's very much stuff about this. And the fact that one of the biggest problems is with the staff is that they're very misguided. They don't seem to have any real sense of decency with the save, except a few. So you don't, even though ranks are helpful, buying a rank really is a symbol of your support, and why would you? And you should not be wanting to support people with staff like this. So I really regret don't ever donating to this server. I'm currently a Skylord. That's at least $50 that I've donated already, and if I could charge back, I would, because I'm just so sick of the drama and so sick of the bad managements here. So for that reason, I have to give this server barely 2.5 stars. So until next time, this is More Doom Minecraft server review. See you guys later.